During this video segment, I will cover the topic of archive versions within Curriculum Track. In Curriculum Track, every time you make a change within one of your units, so if you come in here and you decide that you would like to make a change, so let's add another bullet. And you click Save, that change is immediate and live. So what you see within your maps and your units are always going to be the current and most up-to-date version. Curriculum Track intends for your curriculum itself to be an ever-changing live document. And so we don't have different versions where you work with it and then you can save it but have an older version of it. Instead, we always want the latest and greatest to be what's live on your copy of Curriculum Track. That being said, there may be times that you need to have an archive of all of your data. And that's when you would use our Archive Versions tool. This is really not intended for going back because a mistake was made. Then you're going to want to use the unit plan backups, and there's a video specifically on that topic. This is more reactive to fix things up and go back to where you were. This is more proactive. And so this is, for instance, let's say that you are getting a new science textbook series for K through 12, and so you know you're going to do some pretty drastic revisions to your science curriculum maps. And so if you want to have a copy of all of your curriculum maps, just in case you need to go back, you may want to consider an archive version. With the archive version, there is an extra fee associated with it, because when we make a copy of all your data as it is right at this instant, we actually just doubled your storage space on the Curriculum Track server. Or if you do two archives, now you just tripled the storage space needed. And so there is an extra fee, but it's fairly inexpensive. It's just 10% of whatever your annual service fee is. So for this school, if they pay $650 a year, it's just $65 extra per year. And so to make this purchase, notice that it says $22.97. That's because today is June 7, and this school pays their annual service fee on January 15. So what we do is we prorate that $65 to get us to January 15, and then come January 15, you would pay this plus this if you want to continue with your archive. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase the ability to do an archive, and it says within 1 to 2 business days this will be available to you. You'll also receive an invoice for this. In fact, if you go to the invoices now, you'll see that there's already an invoice created for this right here. We usually say 1 to 2 business days, but we make every effort to take care of that as soon as possible. So when you made that request, we're going to receive an email that tells us to turn the archive feature on for you. So I'm going to do that now. So administratively on the back end, I just took care of that process, and you should receive an email saying that was taken care of. So then you can go to your admin archive versions, and now you'll see that you have one purchased. And you can do that at any time that it's convenient for you, and you can name it whatever you want. So I'm going to go ahead and say archive from this date. I'll create it. And so it may take just a bit because it's making a full copy of all your data. And sure enough, there it is. And if you had 2 archives, you could do another one and so forth. But again, that's going to be a little bit more money and so forth. Usually 1 archive is sufficient. So now what that allows you to do is you could come back at any time to the archive versions, and this will always be there and it won't be changed. So I could look at it now, or I could look at it 10 days from now. It's still going to look the same. So if I click on Open Archive, what it allows you to do is it gives you a smaller version of Curriculum Track where you can see your unit plans, your curriculum maps, your reports, and your benchmarks as they existed at that time. So if you're going to bring in new benchmarks, this will actually use the old and so forth. So I can go ahead and go to second grade science, And here's an archive of it. Notice it looks a little bit more like the old version of Curriculum Track. And we plan on trying to keep it looking different so it's obvious to you whether you're in the archive version or the live copy. Notice also there's a restore link by each of the units themselves. Or I could go to the unit view if I want to. Second grade science, we'll go ahead and choose this unit. And again, you can restore the unit if you want to go back to what it was before. If you want to get out of this again, notice it opened that in a new tab. You can close that tab, and then now I'm in my full version, my current live version of Curriculum Track once again. So the archive version is not used for restoring solely. We recommend that you use the backups instead for that. This is just if you need to have a copy of your curriculum for whatever reason at any given time and kind of take a picture of that curriculum and set it off to the side just in case you ever need to go back to it. This now concludes this video segment.